Right, we begin in earnest. Time to get cracking. Not a very nice day, but there's a gap in the rain. It's not going to rain again till later. It's a bit chilly, but I think it's time to get up there, get the stuff out. The good thing about it having just rained a little bit is I might be able to see where the wet parts are, because it's been left for so long. The bits underneath, the wood bits that I need to get out, will have dried out. So they might look like they're okay. I need to see where the wet is, basically. So that's the thing for today, is getting up there, try and get this bottomed out and have a look at where the damp's coming in, which bits are rotten, which bits aren't, how much I've got to tear out. I'm a little bit daunted because I've been getting some help from Talbot Owners Club Forum. It's a website. People have been really helpful, but also everybody's going, oh, I wouldn't like to have to do that again. So yeah, a bit daunted. I am going to try and just take the top layer off, because if you remember I was saying in the tour video, the first one, that the wood in here, to keep it lightweight, is usually a sandwich. Well, it's actually not really a sandwich, it's two thin bits and then supporting wood, sort of making up the frame, and then sort of skinned basically with the wood. So it looks really thick, but it's not. I'm going to try and take the top layer off first, because I'm really daunted by having to take out all of this wood. But if the damp's got into it, then I haven't got any choice. I'm no joiner, and cutting things to size and trying to make like a frame that sits underneath to then redo it all. It's a bit scary, really. I've got my new Herzim strip, which is the rubber strip that goes inside the seal on the outside. So I just need to get a few more bits for that. I'm going to try and do that because there's quite a few dry days coming up. So if I can get the inside done, the trim has to come off and go back on. I need to do that in a fairly short time frame so the wet doesn't get in. Yeah. Anyway, this is the bit that's most daunting, I think, but let's do it. I'm also going to show you something else that I've done to the van that I've got to fix. So yeah, as you can see, one of the seats is out because that's inside. I'm doing the covers. That's my little evening projects in front of the fire. So hopefully, because that's quite key, is having safe to sit on seats, getting the damp sorted out, fixing up the thing I'm going to show you. I think also I might just take this sink out and reseal it for now, but we'll replace that in time. And then I think while I'm here, because this position is brilliant, I've pulled the van right next to the patio there. I mean, you wouldn't want to live in it with this kind of mess going on, because it's just a bit of a tip now, you know. So very, very fortunate that I can stay in the flat while I'm doing all this. So I think that's when I've got to really bite the bullet and get the walls and the ceiling painted and the cabinetry. Get that done to a reasonable level, and then you can always titivate after that. Plus I think I might try and also, not as important because they're functional, is dye the seat covers, but that's, like I say, that's functional stuff. Let's just get the basics done, get a, right, sealed for winter as well. That's the other thing, isn't it? Making sure there's nothing coming in. Come on, have a look. There we go. So that's today's rain, I imagine. Come in. So I need to get this layer off here. Just have a look-see. I'm just hoping I don't have to take all of it off. Just depends how much of this underneath is wet. But let's just do it this way. I might think it's twice as much work. But you can see how structurally this thing here, it's actually bolted in. So there's like a metal skin, which is the outside, and then there's the wooden frame. I'd have to bolt here. So I'm just going to try and just lever the top off and have a look. Softly, softly, catchy monkey. Let's just have a look at what I'm doing. Right. I'm going to go for my favourite tools, my granddad's hammer and my Wilco 5-in-1 multi-tool, which I've probably had for about 7 years, but it's just so bloody useful. So I'm going to go for those. Let's hope for the best. Coffee for strength of character and mind. Right. Trim off first, actually. I think that trim's sandwiched. It's like a plastic trim sandwiched between the two. Contact lenses in. It might be too much to hope that I've managed to keep this in one piece, and it is only what, like 5mm ply, so it's going to be damp at the back there anyway, isn't it? So what am I thinking of? It's got to go. There's some staples there. I'm just going to speed up this bit because it's 5 or 6 minutes of me puffing and panting. It's not very exciting, so I'm just going to run it a little bit faster. But it does the job. You just need to make sure it's a really thin, flat blade, and don't try and tap it when the handle's stuck on the side, because actually it's not going to go in anywhere. But I figured that out eventually, and managed to pull the whole piece off actually in one, which was pretty cool. Right, I'll just show you where I've got to. Good and bad news. Let's just pull you over. Swing. So I've actually cut the ply here down so I could pull that piece off, because I thought the rest of it's sound. Why the hell I'm going to rebuild it all? I might be lucky enough, because this is a big job for me, for anyone, but I just, yeah. But it looks like I might be able to get away with it. I might have to replace the back one, this here. You see my dinky grey plaster? But this, look at this, it's like something you find under the sea in a shipwreck. It's like Marie Celeste. Bloody awful. It's just literally just crumbled. So that whole back rail's got to be dug out. But I'm struggling with this plastic strip here because it seems to be pinned in behind the base here, but the insulation looks good, and there's a little bit of water damage come up here, but I think most of it's still in the one going across. So if I dig it all out and let it dry out and maybe use some wood hardener, it might be okay. I know other people will go belt and braces, but it's like yeah, might not. And that one looks salvageable down there as well. So I've just got to go and take the trim off outside. Sadly, it looks like it's quite damp up there in the corner as well. It's just a bit spongy. Stuck my thing in there. So that's a bit of an arse, isn't it? So I think rather than having to think about clearing it all out, this is daunting enough, because I need to take that out and I don't know how to get in there. And then that, so I'll pull the paper off and have a look. And maybe just put some new bits of wood in. And then this is the bit that came from over there. It actually pulled off quite cleanly once I got under the end of it. I could get hold of it properly. So that's the rotten bits underneath. But it should be easy just to replace that piece in there like that. So so fingers crossed it hasn't travelled all the way down here. When I get that piece off there, we'll have a look. So outside, get the trim off, because I think the screws that are holding this plastic thing in. I'm just going to do one side at a time actually. Forecast for rain this evening. Yes, so it's forecast for rain this evening, so I don't want to have both sides with the trim off, which would get the wood even wetter, which might then go into bits that I don't want it to, especially because I've dug part of that out now, so where's it going to go? I can't believe so much is coming through, that is that sodden. I wonder how much drier it is on the inside. Anyway, yeah, I'm going to go and have a look outside and hope maybe I'll spot the obvious place where it's coming in. It's either coming in there and running along, or it's coming directly in here and I don't know. So that's where I think it's coming from. That was the only screw that was wet at the end. All the rest were dry. Well, some of them are certainly clean anyway. I think that's where it's coming in. But it could also be coming in up there. So this looks pretty sound to me. The screws are really good, they're not rusted. So interesting. Crazily, it's already starting to feel dark. Got a light on. We have to. Crazy winter. So I'm trying to plan, because it is going to start raining again, according to my 2 weather apps. It might start raining again soon. A bit worried about taking all of that out and then leaving much bigger holes, and then it rains through the night. It's supposed to be dry the next couple of days, so I'm kind of tempted to leave it and start again tomorrow, and strip it all out then. So I'm jumping ahead. Forgot the bloody tape measure. That's no good, is it? I was going to measure what batten width I need, and order the wood to go in there, and then I might have a look at the damage I've done to the back and see if I can get that fixed up before it does start to rain some more, while I've got it here right next to the door. So that might be what I'd finish doing today, and then we'll come back to the job. You know, it's kind of like a bit of investigation. I've got in there and suss it all out. I'm sort of toying with whether I just take a bit of the trim off on the outside, have a little look in, and then sort of tape it up with plastic and etc. Just so at least I can get in there and figure out what I need and how cleanly it's going to come off, and because I'm going to need something to stick the trim back on with. I'm going to need to know what size the screws are so that I can get it all back. But at least I don't have to rebuild this whole thing. Success. So I'm going to get the tape measure. The problem is that my chairs aren't very good for standing on at the moment, are they? So I've got a piece of wood down. So it is. So on to day 2, I'd actually put the screws back in and sort of twisted plastic bags into the channel around the trims, because I pulled the rubber, PVC infill strip out before I started. I didn't get that on video for some reason, but I've got the other side to do, so I'll make sure I get that as I'm doing it properly. So I'm just taking those screws out and the drill is whizzing the plastic bag around the thing, which is perhaps not the best way to do it, but I just wanted to make sure I didn't get any extra water in overnight. And now I'm going to get the actual trim off. It came off really easily actually, but there's a hell of a lot of mastic behind, which is going to take some scraping off. I'm hoping just to get away with taking off the horizontal piece. You can see the the strings of mastic coming off with it there, and obviously quite a lot left behind that I've got to clean off before I can put it back on. pretty simple construction, really. The trims are there to sort of cover up the screws which are connecting the two pieces of metal together, you know, the side and the metal that's underneath the bed bit, and down you can see the same trim down the side of the door there, and it goes all the way up the front of the bed and then all the way across the roof and down the back. So, you know, behind that is, you know, what's just attaching the different sheets of metal together. So it's not very long screws that are attaching that on, and I got lucky actually because they were all in really good condition, which says to me that perhaps that wasn't how the water was getting in, because you'd expect them chaps be a bit rusted, but they still had fairly dry mastic on the end of them from where they'd been put in. So that was good. I'm just getting off the other trim, which is underneath, and it's not the same as the trim on the side. It hasn't got like that PVC strip in it to cover up the screws. It's just a flat piece of metal essentially, which is holding up another piece of metal, and I think that's going to need properly sealing and screwing down better than it was, because it seemed to be coming up at the end. That's where I was showing that screw that was rusted, so it looks like it could be a culprit. So there we're going to need a really good clean so that they go back on nice and flush. So that's going to be fun. I'm going to have to come up with a more inventive solution than standing on the front wall when it comes to trying to get the trim off that goes up the front there and across the front, you know, horizontally, sort of level with the bonnet. I might have to get my hands on a ladder because I don't think this is going to work quite the same way. God, it's like chewing gum, isn't it? So that's the second one off. And now I know that there are actually still screws in behind there, even if I've got all those screws out, because I had the screws out yesterday and I could still see these big screws going right through. So I'm just having a good old look, scraping off some of this yucky mastic. The idea is that it doesn't set, so it kind of, you know, the seal doesn't harden and go brittle and shrink or any of those things, so it always stays well sealed. Probably should have moved the van, made it a little bit easier for myself, but I'm trying to find in amongst all that muck where those screws are, so that I can get them out. There are also loads of, well, there's loads of nails in mine, but also I can see little staples where the bottom lip folds up over the metal of the side. You've got to kind of prise it down, prise these little nails out. So my screw puller that I'm using there is just like essential. But somebody's obviously been in and done this again because there's more in there. And then I've got to get these really big long screws out as well. So quite challenging really, and not doing metal very much good, being pulled apart like that. Oh bless, showing off my screw. So I've got as many as I can out. That 5-in-1 tool is just bloody marvellous. So that goes in behind the metal and you can sort of prise it up, and then the screw puller. Between those two, most things I kind of eventually could get out. So now I can get in there a bit more and get to the pieces of wood that were a bit more sound, because some of it's just crumbling out, but other bits are having to sort of chip out. So just using the same trusty tool and Grandad's hammer to get it all out there. This is fun. Definitely came out easier because all the staples were in it as well. The staple's still in it. Anyway. More digging. More digging. I'll spare you the rest of my puffing and panting and digging, because suffice it to say it went on for quite some hours, just getting in there and figuring it all out, getting the wood out. Quite satisfying. So it's quite something quite satisfying about deconstructing things if you don't think too much about the process of trying to put it all back together and just enjoy getting rid of the rot. It's quite cathartic. Look at this. Spin you. Actually, whoa! Just fell off the chair. You can actually see outside. That is, yeah. So this is the rotten bit here. That bit's nearly out. So I just need to clear that gap there, but can't get to that bit there. And I think I have to go and buy a multi-tool so I can cut through this skin. I don't think I can do it with a little tenon saw, but look how wet it is. Crazy, isn't it? So we won't be going anywhere in this for a while. So I've just been pulling this out by hand, but look, some of it is actually, you can actually almost squeeze the water out of it. Look at that, that's bonkers. Isn't it? So there we go, end of day 2. And we are down to the metal. So I've got to come back tomorrow and see. There's a little tiny hole there, can you see? And I didn't make it, so it doesn't look like a screw hole either. So I'm going to go and look on the outside. This is going to have to come up because I need to get to this baton here and this baton here. See how much of that needs removing. Yeah. Okay, it's about the worst of it out, which is good. Go and get some supplies now. Okay, so looking pretty horrendous, but I'm feeling quite positive actually. That's good progress. I've got all that wood out and I can see how I can put wood in. I just need to get into that corner and see if I can get that sorted, and then take the walls back and get some supplies. So feeling optimistic. So I'm going to take the trims inside actually and try and clean them down. I thought that's quite a good idea to do that of a night time because it's going dark now, and it'll start to get really cold in here as well. So I'll be back.